Alonso Cornejo, who is a member of the Communist Party of Chile. Be welcome, Fernando. How are you?
I'm happy to be here as always. Just a quick correction: we're Communist Party Proletarian Action. I don't want to pretend I'm in something I'm not.
So, Fernando, it's a pleasure for us to have you here. But we are going to make you and to throw the first question. Chile sees the second anniversary of the 2019 social unrest, a massive outburst that marked a moment of social and political will of change. But 2 years later, what has changed actually in the political landscape in Chile?
Very sadly, not much. Unfortunately, the constitutional reform that has been proposed has been quite able to co-opt the energy, the frustration that broke out in 2019. And every day it's becoming more and more clear that the solutions are not to be found there. We could detail all of the infighting and all the pacts that have been signed, but the fact is that that constitution was doomed from the start. From the beginning, it was signed from the presidential candidate Boric, all the way to the fascist right in the Congress, that this constitution, in order to change anything drastically, it would need a supermajority, that is to say, 2/3. And on top of that, it couldn't touch anything fundamentally economic. So very sadly, it seems that the energy, the frustration that came there, has been channeled into something that will not be able to meet the needs of the people. However, I would not say it's all doom and gloom, because lessons have been learned. The 2019 protests were quite disorganized. They were simply a total outburst of frustration, and many groups have been able to gather this experience and try to position themselves to take a more of a leadership role, so that we can target that frustration and avoid it simply manifesting itself in riots and looting, and we can target it at the people who are culpable for this mess. That is the political establishment, the ruling class of the country, the bourgeoisie.
Well, Fernando, I personally believe that yes, the outburst of 2019, maybe they were messy and they were unorganized, but they were a spark for Latin American people. So that leads me to another question. Fernando, can we say Chile's protests jolted Latin America also?
No, I wouldn't want to take the credit there. I think that we could point to Ecuador as the original spark. I mean, perhaps you could say that Chile, being a bigger country, a country that is more in the eyes of the international media, spread it somewhat more. I wouldn't want to be too rude to the Ecuadorian brothers and sisters. I would give the credit to them. I think they started it all.
Okay, so after the recent scandals involving President Sebastián Piñera in the Pandora Papers investigation and also the disclosure of his links with the Dominga mining company sale, do you think Chile will retake the popular and social movements in this direction, I mean?
One would hope so. The question of whether or not Sebastián Piñera should leave office by the end of his term, or if he should renounce, is one that is at the heart of every social movement, of every true social movement in Chile. That man should never been elected, and when in 2019, when his whole house of cards was coming down, he should have never stayed president. It's a bitter memory how even some sectors of the so-called left gave him a parachute to save all his lot. Again, here I'm referring to the Constitutional Convention that gave a soft exit to this whole mess. However, again, I don't want to be too pessimistic. I think that there is hope in groups such as Patriotic Union, Anda Chile, the very historical and very well renowned left revolutionary movement, MIR. These are groups that are forming their coalition. They're working together, and I do think that they can provide a pole, an anchor for the social movements to orient themselves around, and so such that we can exit this duopoly of power that mirrors quite a lot what you see in the United States, where you have the Republicans and the Democrats. Here in this country, unfortunately, the right wing and the center right wing have cemented themselves in the entrails of the state, simply organizing themselves to win elections rather than to serve the people. And I don't think I need to remind anybody here that these people do not represent the popular will of the country. They have simply rigged a country, claimed it to be democratic, but if it was democratic, then the anger that was in 2019 would have never broken out. It would have been channeled with proper governance into a well-functioning country, which this country is not.
Okay, so we will focus on this protest and this new outburst, or maybe the movements in Chile. And we thank you, Fernando, for your time and presence here in From the South.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, now we continue with other informations.